Welcome to the Popcorn Talk Network. For the online broadcast network that features movie discussion, news, and interviews, press 1. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies. In a world where action movies are constantly exploding at the box office, our heroes take on the monumental task of dissecting and analyzing all aspects of action movies to truly understand what it takes to make a great action film. Ben Bateman, Andrew Ghai, in a Popcorn Talk Network exclusive. This is Action Movie Anatomy.
Boom! What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. Welcome to Action Movie Anatomy on the Popcorn Talk Network, the online broadcast network dedicated to talking movies and all things movie-related. We're talking Rocky IV today, and I'm your host, Ben Bateman, joined today by my excellently dressed, back in his purple tie,
I had to do it.
Mr. Andrew freaking Ghai. Andrew freaking Ghai!
I had to do the tie, man, after, was it Axel requested it?
Yeah.
He told me I looked lovely, and he told me I could be an MMA fighter.
He told you should be in Roadhouse.
He told me I should be Look, man, we should hang
Then he
out
told you you
sometime.
should take your shirt off.
Just MySpace me, and I'll get back to you, okay? What's up? I'm Andrew Ghai. I'm happy to be here. I love this movie. It's a childhood classic, and we have a very, very special guest with us, don't we, baby?
Hugely special guest. This is a man that I work with on a fantasy football show on...
Brett Ratner. Oh, what?
That's right.
Listen, I got a pool party I got to get back to. You know, I mean, I'm here. You know, I got a cab ride up. You got to put me in a town car on the way back.
We have an Emmy award-winning Fox Sports radio host, Mr. Jason Smith.
Thank you very much. Wow. And I actually won for Rocky IV.
Did you
believe it or not? Yes, I did.
You played Duke.
Yes, I was Duke, and I was also Apollo stunt double in some of the films.
Oh, my God, you guys' skin tone is like, it's the same.
Yeah, they had to do a lot of work on him to get him to look like me. It's very difficult.
So Jason and I talk about action movies at work all the time, and it turns out that Rocky IV is one of his favorite films of all time, so it's very exciting that he wanted to come on and do the show. We're flattered to have him here.
Well, let me point this out, that while we should be doing fantasy football stuff, because we're on the air live doing it, right. You are talking about Rocky IV. You know, Cam Newton has a touchdown. Hey, you got Cam Newton stats today. Yeah, but you know what? What about that scene with Duke in the beginning of Rocky IV? Okay, that's
touching. When he gives him that nod, and he's like...
sells it for me.
Yeah, so anyway, this is really exciting, guys. This is Action Movie Anatomy. We do action movies on this show. And you may ask yourself, why are we doing Rocky IV on an action movie show? Because this doesn't really hit our rules. If you guys watch the show, you know that we do movies that are made after 1981 that fit 4 basic rules. Number 1, the hero always plays by their own rules. Number 2, the hero and the villain are always the smartest people or things or beings or robots or dinosaurs, whatever they are, in the room. Rule number 3, the movie is driven by a police, military, or political figure. We added mercenary to that category recently. And
which
political
not.
Can mean they either are the man or they work for the man. So like the president or perhaps an MTA operator in The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3. And the movie contains a minimum of 1 explosion. Now this film has emotional explosions.
It has an explosion in the beginning when the 2 gloves hit.
And Rocky is none of those things.
He's none of those things.
And Dolph's not very smart.
None of them are smart. They just get their asses kicked a lot.
Yeah.
And so you can take a bigger beating.
But we always say on the
Dolph
show...
is really smart in real life and
He
is
is.
political with the
Yeah.
United States. And I mean, right away you know it's, hey, this is the height of the Cold War.
Yeah, so the reason we did it is because on the show, Andrew and I always talk about its tone. It's all about tone. If the movie feels like our genre, like if you watch it and you're like, this just feels like an action movie, this totally feels like you're watching
Absolutely.
Rock, Speed, Con Air, Point Break, Die Hard. It's in the same wheelhouse. Like if you like Die Hard, you probably love Rocky IV.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, probably. I mean, you get pumped. There's things about the way that this movie feels and the way that they do things and the writing and how it's shot. It's just like, this is a true action movie, even though it's a drama.
100%. Yeah. So, guys, we do do the show here on Popcorn Talk. It's also on iTunes if you want to leave us a rating or review. Helps keep the lights on. We can't do the show in the dark. If you want to follow any one of us on Twitter, you can find us at...
How about a Fresca?
It's a great Twitter
It's a really
handle.
good one.
How
You
about
like
Fresca?
that?
When did you come up with that?
Well, because Caddyshack is my favorite movie. It's the greatest cinematic achievement of all time. And when I first joined Twitter, I'm like, oh, it's going to be Caddyshack, and all of them are taken. I'm going, I can't get Noonan, I can't get Lacey, I can't get anything else. I go all the way down and I had a choice between How About a Fresca and Moose and Rocco. So the 2 guys helped the judge find his checkbook. So I said, well, let me go with How About a Fresca. And people would try to tell me to change it, and I said, screw you, it's Caddyshack, I'm not changing it. So
Jason Smith wasn't an option.
No, Jason Smith is gone. Jason Smith 7, Jason Smith 30, Jason _ Smith. That's too many.
4976 _ 34.
Yeah.
Did you think about taking like Poison Girl 0823 or something like that?
No, 0823 was taken. I could have had 0827.
It's actually our friend's Twitter.
Our friend's
It's
Twitter.
Poison
It's
Girl
Poison Girl
823.
823. We think it's
Really?
funny-
That sounds
yeah.
like one of those fake ones that when you
know,
people
it
buy
is,
followers.
it is.
Hey, Poison823 really likes what you tweeted there.
It's like lost on her that it's like ironic. She thinks she's like it was literally there was
Like, that's my
800
birthday. Why wouldn't I do
It's
it?
too funny. She's a stand-up though. Works for her character. Andrew, where can people find you?
You can find me at Andrew Ghai on Twitter.
Excellent. And I'm Ben Bateman Media. You guys can find me at Ben Bateman Media on Twitter and Instagram. I suggest we watch the trailer for Rocky 4, and then we will get into all the fun games we play. Let's do it.
You will lose.
Today, the Soviet Union has.
Hey, Dolph, where'd you get the baby oil from? Where's all your baby oil from?
This is not just an exhibition fight. Look, this is us against them.
He would like to compete
Poorly
against
cut
anyone
trailer.
Yes,
who's
very bad.
qualified.
Like, you and I could have edited this trailer.
Yeah, an iMovie.
Athlete ever. Whatever he hits,
He destroys.
destroys.
That's great.
See, in real life, if he landed 2 of these punches,
dead.
they would have stopped the fight.
Yeah,
Stop!
absolutely.
Look, you're killing this guy.
Like Weathers getting hit and dying the way that he does is way more realistic than any of the later fights. Because
that
Weathers
is-
is way bigger than Stallone too.
Well, it's just completely irresponsible by the referee to just, like, let him die.
Oh, he tries. Dolph throws him
Now,
off.
the one thing he can't do.
And like, oh, thanks for telling me Apollo dies. Great, I didn't know that. Oh,
Yeah.
thanks for ruining it for me.
December 25th.
Yeah, I can't believe they just said that in the trailer.
Yeah.
Nuts.
Miss Balboa, when will you be going to Russia?
I'm not going to Russia. I don't know what you're talking about.
He's had one
Talia
professional
Shire,
fight
Stone
and one
Cold
man is
Fox.
Mr. Glasses.
He's going to have to kill me.
Oh, give me the
Why
line.
can't you change your thinking?
Because I'm a fighter.
You can't win.
There you go, Talia Shire.
It's good.
Hey, I'm here to change your
Nightmare
pipes.
I never have nightmares where like it's all black behind
like
me, and there's a spotlight.
There's like blood in his mouth.
All this stuff is just stone cold amazing. Like the training montage is an American treasure.
There's more going on in Dolph's training room than there is on, like, the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah. You see like all the shots they use when they're doing the CGI filming of the new Star Wars with all like, and it's like just what Dolph is in. Yeah.
Rocky 4.
Yeah.
That's the same font for Friday the 13th, Part 2, Part
Right.
3, and Part 4. I think.
Seriously. 1985, huh?
Rocky 4.
Rocky 4.
There was a different trailer voice back in the mid 80s, if you guys recall. The guy in the 90s is the much more like
Deeper.
in this touching drama. But in the 80s it was like way higher pitched. And it was Stallone is Cobra.
Yeah.
Like that's surprising it wasn't that voice. Anyway, so that is the trailer
Are
for
you gonna be able to get past that?
I'm moving past it now.
We're gonna reshoot it next week.
We're gonna reshoot the film next week. So guys, we introduced
Put in
this
a credit card for more minutes.
we introduced this new thing last week that we're calling action movie taglines. So if you guys remember going to video stores as kids, because we do. Do you remember going to video stores as a kid?
Yeah, I worked in a video store.
Okay, yeah, me too. For a short while, he worked in a video store too.
I did, Blockbuster.
So did I.
Yeah.
Did you ever wear the gold jacket on Friday nights when you were the movie expert?
No.
I never got to wear
There was
it
a
either.
movie expert
Yeah,
position?
that was the whole thing. Like, it was this whole thing.
did
If
I
you
hear
were
about that?
if
My
you were a
whole
great
life
employee,
is a lie.
you got to wear the gold jacket on Friday nights because that was the busiest night when people would come in, and it was like you were the movie expert. Your job was to be on the floor and answer questions people have about
I
movies.
did
And
that,
I'm
but I
like,
never got a gold jacket.
No.
That's it.
I never actually worked at a video store. I just hung out at one in high school a lot, convinced the guy to give me free movies, and then
man.
would talk to customers about movies like I worked there.
Ben's here again. Give him a shirt and let him just stand around.
You and Jason Mewes were hanging out.
Yeah,
That's
just
going on.
hanging out.
All right.
I was like, "Have you seen Point Break?" Like, yes, I've seen Point Break.
It's the Point Break kid.
He's a little slow. So anyway, we would go to the video store when we were kids, and you'd like look along the rack, and there's all these VHS tapes, and there'd be like the one tape, and then like the whole line of other ones, and all the tapes. You know, there was no IMDb back in these days.
No,
So-
it was all taglines.
So you'd see a tagline on the box. It would say something sweet like a slam bang action thriller or a non-stop adrenaline thrill ride. And like we were just like, God, that sounds so sweet. Look, Gary Busey's in it. And like, and so
No one ever other than Ben.
So Andrew and I decided it'd be funny if when we did these movies, we came up with like our own taglines. They can be short, they can be long, anything we come up with. This is called Action Movie Tagline. It's the second week in a row we're trying it. Did you guys prepare your action movie taglines?
I did. I have it written down right here.
Do you want to start?
If you want me to start, I will.
Jason Smith, kick us off.
I won't.
Emmy winner.
Thank you. I went with the short tagline. I went with the short tagline, the one that's going to get everybody to pick up the movie. This is why we hate Russia. And there you go. In 1985, I got to have it because we're going to bomb each other
Dude,
and
I
things are
would've
Oh,
going to turn
bought
out
that in a
badly.
second.
I would have been at the video store and I would have done like a Duke nod. I would
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Get that tattooed. I'm gonna get that tattooed on my arm.
Put the hammer and sickle right on there, and then you're all set.
That's beautiful. Beautiful.
Wait, isn't? Oh, that's Bill Duke. Never mind. What's yours?
I wrote, here we go. Stallone pulls all the punches in this patriotic, action-packed slugfest where two worlds collide.
That's very good.
Oh, getting into Burning Heart. I like that.
Yeah.
I like
I
that.
go a little further this week. Andrew crushed me last week. We did the Patriot, and he used the word revolutionary in his tagline,
Oh, yeah, that's
which is
good.
like it's a double entendre because
Yeah,
it's not
yeah.
revolutionary at all, but it's
No.
about the revolutionary war. So mine,
Yeah,
is,
we're familiar with the film, Ben.
Yeah, I thought it was.
And,
Very,
and also what irony is.
yes,
Okay.
I thought it was very funny. I felt I needed to spell it out. I did it. Now I'm embarrassed. Can I just go back to the video store?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Stallone creates an American treasure in curating our nation's greatest music video. After 91 minutes, it's unclear who's more of a patriot, Sylvester Stallone or Rocky Balboa, in this erupting volcano of testosterone and baby oil.
Yeah, it's all right.
I don't know that I would have got past. I would have stopped reading halfway through.
Yeah.
And, there's a girl who looks hot on another movie cover, and I would have gotten that instead.
Like you would have been like 10 with Bo Derek.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's
Or
not-
getting out of the water with their dreads.
In the adult section, where like if you walk over, you feel like people are staring at you. Ah, look at that kid.
It was like in comedy or drama, but it was
was
always
in
like
comedy,
It was
yeah.
like always on the edge, and I'd always be like walking past my
Me too. I've always been like,
Oh,
Mom,
Derek?
I'm just gonna go look at the comedy movies again.
And then you watch Tommy Boy, and you're like, that's the chick from 10. Oh my god, I need to see that movie. Right next to Striptease, like
Right,
all
yeah.
the other ones. The covers were Showgirls.
Barbed Wire.
Barbed Wire.
Yeah,
these
that's
are
a
all
good
ones that
one.
covers as kids.
Joysticks. Yeah, I remember a lot of them.
All right, guys. So that was our action movie tagline for the week. Let us know what you thought and send us one. Let's see yours. Let's see him on Twitter. Let's
Yeah.
see him on YouTube.
Yeah, we'll remind you guys for the first time, we started an Action Movie Anatomy Twitter like a few weeks ago. We have a brand new one. It's AMA Podcast. You can tweet at us there. You can tweet at any of us and let us know what you think. And let's get into our fist pump moment. So this is another one of these games we play. It's this thing that happens when you're watching the movie, you're looking around, you're like, is anybody else seeing this moment right now? This is so awesome.
Like, call your friend.
Yeah. You're like, Andrew, I'm watching this movie right now. I got to talk to you about it. He's
Ben,
like,
I'm
at
working.
work. I'm like, no, I need to talk to you about this. So that's like fist pump moment, and it's just like the sweetest part. It could be anything. It can be like the dramatic music at the beginning of Terminator. It can be like a one-liner. It can be a dramatic moment between father and son. It could be anything you want it to be. It can be a song. So let's get into our fist pump moments. I'm gonna jump in.
You're gonna
'cause
jump
I've
in?
I've
Okay.
referenced mine a few times already. It's that scene in the training montage. We're going to the training montage later in the video, but it's the scene in the training montage where Rocky is doing the pull-ups. He's going
Front and
back,
back, yeah.
and forth, and Duke, who's already been screaming at him, no pain, just cuts to Duke's face for a second. Duke's like,
Yeah, it's like a very subtle nod.
he gives the nod, and you're like, that is that guy's greatest acting
Yeah.
performance. It's
Incredible nod.
because it's a good. I mean, the montage is amazing anyway.
Yeah.
But you look, and Duke's like, and you're like, yeah, it's working.
Yeah, they're like cutting
He's
from
getting into it.
Stallone's like cutting to all the different shots. He's like, you know what? We need one real quick of Duke just nodding at me. All right, let's do it.
Okay, this is the insert of Duke nodding. Okay, action, Duke nod.
Cut. Print.
Really nice work. Let's go to lunch.
We don't have to do 17 or 18. No, we got it. We're good. We may not even use it.
Yeah, that's mine. What do you guys
All
got?
right, so mine is, oh God, it's between two of them. I think, even though I love the beginning of No Easy Way Out,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go when he's on top of the mountain and he yells Drago.
It almost sounds
so
incoherent.
great.
You think he
Yeah.
might just be saying like,
Well, the first one's completely incoherent.
Yeah.
They probably were like in the helicopter, say it again, we can't understand you.
That's an awesome one. That's an
Yeah,
awesome one.
Drago.
I find myself just saying that at certain times.
Oh, totally.
Just so someone cut me off in a car, instead of cursing them out and say, Drago! Like, what is that all about?
Like,
And
I'm
it's-
not gonna mess with that guy.
and it's a Jay Cutler touchdown. Drago!
See, I'll get that on the show this week. Just watch, I will.
Yeah, all
Jason,
right.
what do you got?
Fistman, now it's I don't know. I just remember back to what really got me going. So when I saw it, I was a kid.
Yeah.
But it's when Rocky hits Drago with the first big punch and he
Yeah.
cuts him.
Yeah.
And you hear he's cut. The Russian is cut. And not only did he, but they had to show it in slow motion.
Yeah.
And the look on Drago's face, he was like, what
Can't
just
believe
happened to
it.
me? He was like, Rocky's gonna win. Oh my! Spoiler alert! I'm like, oh my god, Rocky's gonna win. Like, I totally didn't think he was gonna win.
The
'Cause
Russian
he's-
bleeds.
Yeah, he's just got that fist cocked. I'm going, oh my god, he's gonna hit him and kill him like he killed Apollo. Sorry, spoiler alert. And he's gonna get that. But then he cuts him. It's like, whoa, that changes the momentum.
Yeah.
It's like throwing a pick six. It changes it all.
It's literally one of those, nobody makes me bleed my own blood.
Yeah, total.
So pissed.
And the beauty of these things is, like, we talk about Rocky 4 and we talk about how silly a lot of it is. Like, it's so cliche, we reference it, we love it.
Yeah.
But, like, in like, what is it, 85? In 85, this was, like, groundbreaking
This was the beginning
stuff.
of the cliches.
Like, we love Warrior with Tom Hardy. It's, like, one of our favorite movies. We talk about it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That's, like, a very modern fighting movie. It's done extremely well. But this movie's so old compared to that movie. I have to think Warrior probably stole so much from this movie.
I mean, it's the same thing as we talk about when we did Lethal Weapon. It's
Yeah.
like these things that are so cliche. No, these were the creation of the
like,
cliches.
that
This
was
is where
the
they
buddy
started.
comedy. That was the one.
Absolutely.
Yeah, totally. So it's this is like this is like the beginning of like the big sort of blockbuster fighting movie where like Rocky was a drama, Rocky 2 was a drama, Rocky 3 was almost Rocky 4. Rocky 4 is like the straight up like blockbuster fighting movie.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, completely
it's not
guilty
the-
pleasure movie.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But it's the best one. It's like if you were ranking the movies, Rocky 4 is the one you would watch over and over. Like if you're
one I
sitting
have
home on a
watched over
Friday
and over.
night,
Yeah.
if you see Rocky on, you're like, maybe I'll watch, maybe I won't. Rocky 2, maybe I will. Rocky 3, okay,
Yeah.
if it's a good scene with Mr. T. But Rocky 4, it's like, oh no, I'm in.
Yeah,
I'm
no
in now
matter
for the
what.
rest of the
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah, all in, totally. All right, so we have like we're adding all kinds of new stuff to the show right now.
Break them up or something.
Yeah, we're going to get into star profiles in just a minute, but this is a very special one. And you referenced No Easy Way Out. Can we cue up No Easy Way Out just so the audience kind of knows what the song is? Because this is a good kickoff point for me. This is the song that plays when, like, Adrian's like, you'll lose. You can't win. And starts playing this, and it's just like the flashback moment. All of, like, Dolph looking angry. Just like when
The
you're...
nightmares.
Yeah,
the
you're-
Dolph nightmare.
If Dolph was like your bully in your high school, like that's what you see when you're dreaming. Yeah.
The Angry Drive. This is the Angry Drive where
Yeah,
Rocky
this is a very
thinks about
angry
his whole
drive.
life.
Yeah.
Robert Tepper's greatest work. Yeah, and this was also a top 40 hit. This
Yeah.
is like, I think that this is like 3 top 40 hits maybe, but I know this was a top 40 hit positively.
Well, this
So-
whole movie is like, let's find a way to get from this song to this song, and this song to this song, and this. It's like Purple Rain. Like I
Yeah.
said, let's try to weave this all together with a plot, and have the songs, dotted along the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
what it is.
So that's enough of that song for now. So this is going to cue us into what I think several of our thesis statements are related to songs, right?
No.
Okay, well, mine is yours.
My thesis statement related to a song.
Oh, maybe I'm the
no,
only
it's
one.
not.
Oh, all right. Well, I jumped the gun.
Just wanted to hear the song. You can tell us.
We're gonna play it again later, guys. But I wanted to hear it once. So this
Hi,
is
Ben
called.
from Santa Monica. Can you play No Easy Way Out? And
God
dedicate
damn it.
to Christine.
It's the same kid that used to bother me in the video store.
No, but have you seen Point Break? Yes, I've seen Point Break. Have you seen Bridget Jones' Diary? I'm getting out of
I
here.
need to go. Yeah, so thesis statements. Yours is about the song, music, huh?
Well, so it's actually, I kind of sold it with my tagline. So
Okay.
thesis statement, this is the part of the show where you come up with like a really strong idea about the movie. This is sort of, and we were alluding to it with how great this movie is. It's the ultimate guilty movie pleasure, sort of. But it's your strong idea about the movie. It's the thing that really you believe about this movie more than anything else, and you can defend it. It shouldn't be loose. Shouldn't be this is my favorite this, or this is one of the best times this ever happened. It's like one of the top 3 this, or the first time this ever happened.
Right.
So that's kind of the way this works. Again, if you have one of these, let us know. Your thesis statements are always very interesting. Mine is that.
So strong you're looking for it on your
we
paper.
pay him a lot for this.
I'm gonna hold off on mine, and I'm gonna kick it over to Andrew.
And you're on. You're on. Go.
Am I on? Are we live?
You're on
okay,
here. We're live. I don't.
Okay, so for
I don't-
me, honestly, this movie, for me, my thesis is that this is the #1 greatest action movie that is not an action movie at all. There are 2 fights in this movie that both last about 3 minutes and then 5 minutes respectively.
Yeah.
That's it.
The rest is
There's
just
no
drama.
other action. It's just music and like cuts to people's faces.
Yeah.
And then like really quick like things where you're like, I really don't want to hear you guys talk. Just play the next song.
Right.
There's no action in this movie, but it's on our show, and
Yeah.
it feels exactly like all those action movies that you love. And it's because of the way that they build everything. And it's a revenge story
Yeah.
and the tone and like, yeah. So for me, greatest non-action action movie ever.
I'll jump on the back of that, remembering mine now, and it's that.
This is so strong. I like how you said it's so strong you can't debate it. It's something
yeah,
so
not gonna-
and
I need to learn how to write. I can't write, so I just.
Let me come up with it.
It's all in here. This is the greatest movie soundtrack in the history of film, not composed originally for the film.
I thought you changed yours because I knew what yours was. You could have just asked me.
With the greatest soundtrack.
Your thesis. Yeah.
I literally
you've said it like
forgot.
so many times.
It's the greatest soundtrack in the history of film. Not composed Interstellar, stuff like that.
Right,
That doesn't
yeah,
count.
no, not like
Yeah,
not
not
like
like a
Howard
Hans Zimmer
score,
thing.
James
Yeah.
Horner type thing.
Yeah, it's like a non-score, but it's
Yeah.
the greatest film soundtrack non-score ever. That's mine.
Yeah.
That's mine.
Okay, I like
It's
that.
great. I have two that I always default to.
Okay.
Purple Rain was actually done, like we mentioned, Purple
Yeah,
Rain again.
yeah.
But Lost Boys
Okay, it's very good.
Yes.
and Less Than Zero,
Less Than
which
Zero.
I think I was one of 15 people who saw the movie.
I was gonna say I don't know that movie.
Robert Downey Jr.,
Yeah.
Andrew McCarthy, Jamie
Oh
Gertz.
yeah, no,
They're
don't
all
remember it.
They're all high schools, and they're high school kids who are all privileged, and they there's this love triangle,
Right.
and there's drugs involved,
Right.
and the movie is just messy and all over the place. But the soundtrack is incredibly good. I listen to it all the time. I know with me. Oh, it starts out with Rockin' Pneumonia and Boogie Woogie Flu. Then it's got Roy Orbison. Then it's Poison doing Rock and Roll All Night. Then it's LL Cool J. And then it's
Love it.
Danzig. And then it's the Bangles. It's so that's what I default to. But this is right there. I agree.
This is a good one.
It's up there.
Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's yours?
My statement is this: there has never been a better athlete turned actor in the history of film than Carl Weathers. And Rocky IV cements it with the scene when he starts telling him how tough it is. Just that quick scene
Right.
when Rocky's telling him, "Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this?" And he gives him that look that just you can tell, I don't have anything left.
Right.
You know, I was a boxer my whole life. And, obviously it's 4 movies that build towards this, but he shows up right away and is an incredible villain. And in a movie that's about a hero, it's only as good as the villain. And he comes in right away. And
Yeah.
he's charismatic, and you hate him, and he's cocky, and he's arrogant. And you see his character go through 4 movies, and suddenly it goes from, he's the enemy, we hate him, to, wait, now he's going to help Rocky, and Rocky, spoiler alert, he's going to help Rocky, and now he's a good guy, and then he dies, oh my God, and I feel so awful.
Yeah.
You think about all these, athletes that are acting and doing
Yeah.
things, and he's really been, because you never questioned how good he was.
I didn't
No.
even know, like, when I saw Predator for the first time, which is, like, that's to me, Dutch is the role that I always remember. I know Apollo's way more iconic, or not Dutch, but in Predator, anyway, is my point. And I didn't even know that he was a football player until I was older. I just assumed Carl Weathers was an actor.
He's just
Action
jacked.
Jackson,
Yeah.
Action Jackson, Predator, Apollo Creed. You just figure, like, that guy's great. He was born to be an actor. And, I think that's a
Then
great...
they have that big, the muscle, hey, good job, all right.
Right, yeah. What's the matter? CIA, have you pushing too many pencils? You think he's off? Take it easy on your tie, man. Anyway.
Fucking die business.
This fucking tie business.
That's I actually really like that.
Yeah, that's really
Very
good. It's well thought out. I
Better than both
appreciate
of
you.
ours.
I appreciate you taking the time on that, man.
No, that's all right. Well, and I remembered it, so that was good. That always
That's
helps.
good.
Yeah. Wow.
Did you know mine too? If I,
I
could've said
would
it?
not. You haven't been yelling it at me all week, so. Drew,
Look,
I
I
know it's
freeze-
3 in the morning.
I freeze
Best
up.
soundtrack.
I freeze up at the moment. There's a very particular song. We're later in the show going to get into our top 5 soundtrack songs from
Yeah,
Rocky IV. We're not
let's
going to get
do
into that
some-
quite yet. We want to talk a little bit about the star profiles, kind of where these guys were when they made the movie, who made the movie, and all that. This is definitely one of those ones where Stallone's so heavily involved with the Rocky movies. It's a lot of the same people as the earlier ones. There's not as many people involved. Like, there's only 4 producers. It's kind of interesting. So we'll start with Stallone. This is the same year as First Blood Part 2.
Yeah, this was his biggest year ever.
I would argue one of the biggest years ever for an action star.
Yeah.
His 2 big highest grossing movies ever, $300 million each
In 85.
In 85, yeah. Like adjusted.
So that's like that's over $500 million each, easy. Like
Yeah.
we're talking like 600 plus million.
Came out the same year. And he directed this one. Like,
yeah, and wrote it.
unbelievable. So this is same year as First Blood Part 2. Rhinestone was the year before.
also made $300 million. Not.
Said no one ever. With Dolly Parton.
Have you guys seen that movie?
Rhinestone?
Oh, a long time ago
Yeah?
once. Yeah,
I've never
never
seen
again.
it.
Never seen it.
I've seen bits of it on cable here and there. It's kind of embarrassing. I don't have the courage to turn on the sound.
It's like when HBO first started, they had like 5 movies. Rhinestone was on. It's like, oh,
Same with Urban
I'm
Cowboy.
not gonna watch
It's like when you were
it.
kids,
Yeah.
and there's like that static TV. You're like trying to watch porn on it. Ben thought that's what it was, but it was actually just Rhinestone and Dolly Parton.
Rhinestone. I wonder what yeah, never mind. I'm not gonna say that. And then First Blood in '82, which is underrated in people's minds because they associate it with the other Rambo movies, but it's a very different movie.
Absolutely.
First Blood's like a real drama.
He wrote all of these movies too,
Yeah.
right? Like all the Rambos
think
and the
he did.
Rockies.
Yeah, yeah,
So
I
like
think-
this dude, like a lot of people don't give him as much respect as he deserves.
Yeah.
I mean, his writing isn't great by any means, but it serves its purpose.
It's like just enough.
It's
right?
just enough.
Yeah.
You know, just good enough.
lose the lies.
And it's also just good enough to where people like James Cameron, who worked on First Blood Part 2, were like, I only wrote this part and none of this other parts. I want nothing to do with that. My name is not on that.
There's the one really good line in First Blood Part 2, though, right? It's just the expendable line. Expendable's
Yeah.
like when you get invited to a party, you don't show up, nobody cares if you show up, right?
Yeah. And she says, Rambo, you not expendable.
That's great. Yeah, it's a great line.
I think we need to reshoot that scene with the two of you.
No, and then there's the Richard Crenna line at the end when he tells Brian Denny, you go after John Rambo, you got to remember one thing. What's that? A lot of body bags.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
It's
how
so
awesome
good.
was that?
So good.
There's your First Blood, not me. No, First Blood's fantastic. Like I almost
very
feel like
good.
First Blood. I don't know if we could do it on the show because it's like kind of low budge and it's like pretty dramatic.
Like the same
He
reason
shoots up a town.
we wouldn't do
Yeah.
Alien on the show.
Yeah, right. It's a good point. Yeah, Alien's more of a horror movie, but it has action. It's kind of the same with First Blood. First Blood Part 2, on the other hand. Dead
Again,
on.
it's tone.
We did First Blood Part 2 actually on the show. It
Yeah.
was one of our first episodes.
It's going big right now. It's doing really well.
Yeah, it's soaring. We did it with JT and Finstock from the Schmoes Those Network. If you guys want to check that episode out, shameless plug. Let's talk about Carl Weathers, the greatest athlete turned actor of all time. I think I totally agree with you. By the way,
Over the Rock?
yeah, I think so.
I would disagree.
I love The Rock. God, it's hard though. I guess neither one of them was that spectacular in their professional sports career.
Well, you got to remember that The Rock's professional sports career was in the WWF.
Yeah,
Which he was
it's true.
incredibly successful. He just played for Miami.
That's what I was
you know,
thinking. Yeah. I guess that is a really good point. I'll have to think about that. But nonetheless, one of the best. One of the best. I'll agree
Yeah,
with you.
no, Rock, I mean, the scene would really get me with him when I was like, okay, here's another guy turned out. But when he was in Be Cool and he does the whole,
Yeah, so
I like to do a
good.
monologue from the movie Bring It On.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, this
He
is awesome.
slays it.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Also, in The Other Guys with Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg, he has some wonderful scenes.
Very good.
One of my
God
favorites.
damn it, let me finish.
God damn it, let me finish. Tuesday night is taco night at Rikers Island. All right, so let's talk Weathers.
Yeah, we did Weathers because Lundgren had only been in one other movie.
Yeah, one film. Isn't that
Ever.
crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I know his story correctly. Lundgren was his girlfriend. Like she got him a job as a bouncer, and he ended up meeting a producer, which got him an audition for this movie because A View to Kill from '85 was his other movie, same year, and I think he has a very small part.
Could you imagine this dude walking into auditions for like looking for a Russian superhero, essentially boxer, and this guy walks in?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
His-
Yeah, you got it.
His career was pretty particular because he blew up with this movie, but he has like almost no lines in this movie.
No.
And the few scenes that he has to show emotion, he's pretty much god awful in this movie. And so then he ended up in like Masters of the Universe playing He-Man, and he ended up in The Punisher, and like he's just not good.
Oh,
Like,
don't forget Universal Soldier with Van Damme.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was such a big deal when it was, because that was Van Damme had just started the Lionheart, all those action movies.
Right.
And now suddenly, whoa, Van Damme, they're in the same movie.
And
Oh
Dolph.
my God. And
Right.
Dolph, yeah, that was great.
Yeah, it's big time. I actually got to interview Dolph fairly recently on a press junket for his movie that came out this year, Skin Trade, and he keeps himself in great shape. Like he looked pretty good for his age, I would say. I was impressed, but definitely I asked him a question about what was it like playing an action figure in Master of the Universe. Like, you know, you see these movies now where all these superheroes, it's like incredible. You're watching these guys fly around. It looked absolutely real.
Right.
And you know, Master of the Universe was, and he was like, and he was just kind of like, it was interesting playing an action figure. Next question. This is like didn't give me much.
Well, you would think, how many questions has he ever gotten about
Right.
Masters of the Universe?
Yeah.
You'd think, oh, all right, sure, let's talk about that. No, yeah, move on.
Yeah, he just wasn't interested. So
It's like talking to Cusack about
yeah.
Con Air.
Yeah, same deal. I just talked to Cusack last week about Con Air, and I'm thinking, here's a Spike Lee movie.
Security!
He's gonna want. I was like, if I give him a question about Con Air, that'll be so great. He just looked at me and he was like, it's a different animal. I was like, all right.
I will kill you.
I guess we don't want to talk about that movie. Let's move on. So, yeah, Weathers, 82, he does Rocky 3. 81, he's in Death Hunt, which I've never seen. Have you seen Death Hunt?
No, I have not
Sounds
seen that.
sweet.
It sounds fucking sweet.
I mean, read the box.
Yeah. Can we what's the tagline for Death Hunt, I wonder?
Feel good movie of the summer.
Two men hunting for death in Death Hunt.
Mortal
That's it?
Kombat never tasted so good. I don't know. And then Rocky 2 in 79. So really, Weathers is one of these guys who benefits from one great character.
Yeah.
That's at the end of the day, Action Jackson is like, it's fine, it's forgettable, but he is fucking fantastic as Dylan in Predator.
Yeah, he's great in Predator, but he's
Apollo
what's
Creed.
there's a movie coming out. It's called Creed.
Yep.
You know, and everyone knows who that is because of this guy.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's the reason we did this movie this week on the show is because, you know, we know Creed's coming out and it sounds like it's incredible.
That's what I keep hearing. I keep hearing it's amazing.
Yeah, and honestly, when I first saw it, I was like, oh, sweet, Rocky Balboa again, and it's going to be just as bad.
Right.
Because that one came out, what, 2006?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, which we were talking about. It's a funny movie because like I saw Balboa once. I don't remember that much about it. I remember walking out of it thinking that was pretty good, and the reviews on it are very solid.
Yeah.
Like people like that movie, but I think for some reason at that moment, maybe because Expendables was around the same time, people were like, all Van Damme or all Stallone is trying to do is revive his career here by
Right.
resurrecting these old properties. So people didn't really want to see it. I think I got quickly forgotten. Whereas this movie seems like there's a lot of hype. Michael B. Jordan
Yeah.
seems like he's somebody people want to get behind him.
He's been in The Wire. He's been in
Yeah.
Friday Night Lights.
Yeah.
He's been in, some of the most iconic TV shows of the last 10 years.
Fantastic Four, anybody?
He was great in Fruitvale Station. He was really good in
Yeah,
Fruitvale
no,
Station.
he's very good. He's a very good actor, and I'm really excited to see what happens.
Yeah,
with this.
I'm happy to see it. I agree. So yeah, that's kind of interesting. Weathers his. Oh, we're forgetting one incredible character.
Oh, playing himself in Arrested Development.
Oh, no. Well, that is very good. But Chubbs.
Goddamn alligator bit my
my
hand
hand
off.
off.
Oh my god!
Oh my God!
Be a damn fool, Happy.
Yeah, that movie's amazing.
This is his greatest role ever. I
We watched
everything back
Happy
to
Gilmore last year again, and we watched as kids, obviously, and we were
Yeah.
thinking this. I'm sure it's aged a little bit. It's probably not as funny. Every bit as funny. Not even a little bit has it aged. Happy Gilmore was funnier now than it was then.
Get a Pepsi.
Yeah.
Oh, and Miss Diet.
Yeah. I mean, and Weathers is such a good part of that
Yeah,
movie.
he's great.
Yeah, he comes out of nowhere.
And he
Yeah,
dies
like,
in
oh.
that movie too.
It's okay. Things
Spoiler
made of-
alert.
Yeah,
Things,
man.
things made of wood is real sturdy.
Maybe that's his thing.
Semi-drunk.
I got to die in every movie. That's my thing.
Yeah, that's
everybody
his-
knows.
What does he say? He's like, they wouldn't let me play. They wouldn't let me play football. Oh, I'm sorry, because you're black. Goddamn alligator bit my hand off. Oh my god. All right. Anyway, so that's Weathers. That's his career. Pretty amazing. So yeah, there's you want to jump in? I know it looks like you. I think you did this stuff.
I didn't do it. I actually have no idea what are we doing now, man?
Brigitte Nielsen's career.
I was just like talking about production development. There was like some discrepancy over the some of the scenes and some of the writing.
Yeah, well, so what happened is during the filming of this, Stallone he kind of wanted to go method with the whole thing, with the fights,
Yeah.
until he actually did it.
Right.
And he got his ass
Realizing that he
kicked.
was 10
like,
inches
it was
and 50
so
pounds.
bad. Right here. Would engage in legitimate sparring. So one particular forceful Lundgren punch to Stallone's chest slammed his heart against his breastbone, causing his heart to swell. And then Stallone, he suffered from labored breathing and blood pressure over 200 and was flown off of set. And he had to spend a few days in the ICU because one punch from this dude in his chest just like ruined his life. Like how it should have been in the movie.
Yeah.
And then, so after that, he kind of told him, he's like, you got to calm down. But it was also because Weathers, even though Weathers is only in this movie for like 25 minutes, he threatened to walk off set and quit because there's that scene when they're sparring and he throws
So
him
where he
across
throws
the
it,
ring
right, and he runs into
and
the
he's
thing?
like
Yeah.
catches himself. Yeah, Weathers lost it. He was
Yeah.
livid. He couldn't. He was like, this is bullshit. Like this is amateur. Like I'm an actor. He called his agent. He's like, I'm done. I'm quitting the movie. Like what is happening?
Yeah.
And I understand it. Like you don't sign up to get your ass kicked
By Dolph Lundgren.
as an actor, but it's a Rocky movie. I don't know. It's cool though. I really like that they tried to do it, but then it was too much. And Stallone to this day still says he's like, that dude was in good enough physical form to be a heavyweight boxer at that time.
Dolph.
Yeah.
The picture I want to see is the picture of like Stallone with like the bandage on his chest, sitting in the hospital bed, being like, you know what I mean? I'm all good.
Yeah.
I'm good, guys. Let's get back to work.
People would wonder, was this part of the movie? No, it's not part of the movie. Rocky's dead? No, in real life, no, Mickey died. No, Apollo did. No, but Rocky.
No,
okay,
but
I
Rocky's
understand.
almost dead in real life.
So the script development was the subject of a famous copyright lawsuit. Oh, all right. This is the thing about with him and Anderson. Right? Yeah. So there was a copyright lawsuit because Stallone developed Rocky 1 through 3, and he couldn't enforce his unauthorized story extension against the owner of the character's copyrights written by the other guy. So there was a lot of discrepancy going into this movie, but obviously because 3 had been so successful, they weren't going to let it go. So they insisted Stallone. I suppose did he win? He won.
I'm sure he had to have.
They made the movie.
Yeah.
I just wondering if we changed the script maybe. On spec by treatment. Anyway, this is something that should be committed to memory.
I was going to say this should be something we should know already.
Yeah, well,
Just don't talk about it.
We do a lot of prepping.
don't talk about
we
it.
just don't talk about it, man. We just move on.
Stallone wrote the movie.
Stallone.
It went well.
Do any of you guys really watch the film for us to be like, there's a producer named this, and he did this? You just want us to hear me like the fist bump moment is when Duke's like,
No. Which is no one else's. Brockman said it was his fist bump moment, so all right, whatever. Yeah, and he also directed this movie. He'd already written 1, 2, 3, and 4, as well as Rambo 1 and 2.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's just another Stallone project. This is what this guy did in the 80s. He owned the entire thing. He'd write, direct, and star in, and...
well, it's funny, right? Because you talk about there's the conversation that always happens, Stallone versus Schwarzenegger. But
Yeah.
what it really comes down to is that it's like Stallone had 2 properties, and that's his whole career, essentially.
Yeah.
Like, he was into some other stuff, but, like, it's Rocky and Rambo.
Well, and they're also, like, such different beasts. Like, there's no way Schwarzenegger could direct and write a movie
No.
in the 80s. He
I
could
wonder-
maybe do it now.
I wonder what it would have looked like.
It would have looked real good, I bet.
Would have looked incredible. it would have been like just like Pumping Iron, the scripted movie.
Right.
And you're leaving out Cobra. Don't forget Cobra.
Yeah.
You're the disease, I'm the cure.
Yeah.
That was a pretty good tagline.
That is a good line.
The classic Cobra stories that the original screenplay for Beverly Hills Cop was bought and then changed so many times that it became Cobra, and then they just made the original screenplay for Beverly Hills Cop. Yeah, that's like the famous story.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Hollywood for you.
Yeah. So anyway, Robert Chardoff and Irvin Winkler, they're like the main producers in this movie. There's 4 producers listed, but these are like the big heavy hitters. Basically, so Winkler's the guy. Chardoff was kind of like his partner for the most part. Chardoff actually passed away this year. Didn't get to see Creed come out, and he was producing Creed. So,
Oh, yeah, I read about that.
yeah, exactly. So, but Winkler, they've been nominated for a bunch of Academy Awards. Obviously, they won the Academy Award for Rocky. They did all the Rocky movies, ton of other stuff. Wolf of Wall Street, most recently. So, very, very successful. And Winkler continues to produce. So, he's a heavy hitter. He's
Yeah.
kind of involved in this one.
I mean, and these guys producing these movies, as you can tell, they were incredibly successful as we get into the critical and box office here. So this movie was made by United Artists, and I always see the MGM thing though, and it always throws me off because
Right.
it just like sticks with me so much as a kid because I love that lion roaring, man. I would
course.
always get me so pumped for Rocky.
Yeah.
And Annie.
Yeah. What?
I just think that's the only 2 movies I can remember that. Anyway,
You were a
Wait
big
till the
fan.
third roar of the lion, then you start Wizard of Oz, and you start the Dark Side of the Moon. It all lines up, man.
Lines up,
Third
man.
roar of the lion.
Wait for the third roar of the lion. You'll see Orleans Dark.
Orleans Dark on the hill. All right, so this movie was made by United Artists. It cost $28 million to make, which is, it was probably like a decent-sized budget back in '85, especially for a
Yeah.
movie like this.
I mean, it is crazy when you consider that 85 and 91, it's only 6 years apart, and $100 million got spent on T2. Like,
Yeah.
that always blows my mind how much money that costs to make.
I still cannot get over like the fact that Looper cost $40 million. Like anytime we do stuff like this, and you
Yeah.
see that a movie was made for 28 in the '85, and
Yeah.
like you'll be able to make that movie now with $40 million.
25 years later.
Yeah, it's incredible. But this movie was massively successful. I mean, it is a Christmas movie. It's a holiday movie.
Yeah.
I don't really ever think of it like that, but it came out in November, like the end of November, so it was like hitting its stride during Christmas, and it made $127 million domestic and 172 worldwide, which is that thing that we talk about with these guys and these characters.
Yeah.
They become massive all over the world and they end up doing better everywhere else than they do here.
Totally.
It makes sense. We're just one country as opposed to hundreds. But yeah, Rocky was just, he was the thing.
100%.
And it takes place on Christmas Day, so it technically is
Yeah.
a Christmas movie.
So the
Absolutely.
question becomes then, what's the better Christmas movie? Die Hard or Rocky 4? It's a tough one.
I'd have to say a better Christmas movie is Die Hard, but
Yeah.
I like watching Rocky 4 more. It feels like, because Die Hard feels so Christmassy to me.
Well, we're going to edge that out actually at the end because we're going to do our ranking.
We are.
Yeah, actually, so we won't even get to that until we get to the end of the episode.
Oh, spoiler
Alright.
alert.
Yes,
So it's- yeah.
spoiler alert.
This movie opened number 1 at 19.9 million, and these were his 2 biggest movies he ever made. Was Rambo: First Blood Part 2 and Rocky
Can you
4.
imagine being that guy? Like, the year happens, 86 rolls around. It's March, spring's coming around.
Right.
You're just walking around in a silk sweater, sweet aviators. You're thinking, my movie's made 600
Why are you wearing a
mil-"
silk sweater?
I don't know, because it's Stallone. That's what he would have done in the 80s.
And it's March. It's still warm out here.
Yeah, that's what he would have done in the 80s. Can't you imagine, like, a purple silk sweater?
I can imagine you doing this.
Okay, maybe that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking if I were Stallone in '86, but he's $600 million.
Yeah.
In ¡86!
It's insane.
He's probably. He would have bought an island. I would have bought an island.
I would have bought one island.
I would have bought a lot of silk sweaters.
Yeah, you would have. Only one pair of aviators.
Go ahead. Keep going.
Yeah, so this movie, critical reception, got a 6.7 on IMDb.
Yeah.
But on Rotten Tomatoes, it wasn't quite as successful.
No, Balboa has higher ratings than this movie on Tomatoes.
Balboa has higher ratings than this movie across the board, even on IMDb and everything.
crazy.
And I get it. This movie isn't that good. Like, it's incredible.
Yeah.
But it's not a good movie.
That's why it's our genre. It's so
Exactly.
indicative of this show.
Yeah.
It's exactly what we do on this show. This show is so much more about the way this movie feels than it is about like the Bourne Identity being a good movie.
Because like we said, we don't do bad movies on this show. We
No.
will never do a bad movie other than the fucking Taking a Pelham 1, 2,
don't
3.
you say it.
But the
Somehow
original
been-
was so good. I
Yeah.
don't know why. I mean, they remade it. I'm like, oh, that's going to be awful.
Taking a Pelham?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The original. I remember seeing that when I was a kid going, this movie is incredible. Mom, she goes, oh, yeah, this movie came out like 15 years ago.
I
I'm
think
like,
that the
oh.
new one is pretty fucking awesome.
I think it holds up pretty fucking well. No, it does not. It's not good. And so you go in here, we got Richard Scheckel from Time Magazine. He says, padded with clips from earlier Rocky pictures, which is hilarious because there is about like 20 minutes of footage.
We
from
were
other
joking. We
movies.
were like, we're about 17 minutes shy. We just put some more flashbacks. Get those guys from Touch to make that song. We'll do another.
So padded with clips from earlier Rocky pictures, adding nothing to his mythic, let alone human dimensions. It lacks even the primitive suspense and crude capacity to release underdog emotions, which is true because Rocky's always been the underdog that permitted its predecessors to conquer one's better judgment.
He's like the man version of Superman. It's like he has to win by trying really, really hard instead of just trying hard.
But in this movie, there's like none of that. It's just a revenge story. It's a revenge story. He's not the underdog. You know he's gonna win. Everyone knows he's gonna win. You can't
I
end
don't
the
know.
movie
I got
with
nervous
him
though.
losing.
I was nervous.
One of
Like
my
that's
fa-
what I loved about 3.
Well, because he doesn't win in 1, so you don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
But at this point, you have to. Like
Right.
in 3, he loses once, and then he tries harder and
We
wins.
can't lose to Russia.
You can't lose to Russia.
No.
Not at this time.
No, and that was they took a huge. I mean, they were taking advantage of the Cold War at its hottest time. I mean, that was the same time WWE had the whole Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Nikolai Volkov when he would sing the Russian national anthem before, and people would go crazy for
Right.
it. And I remember seeing the trailer for Rocky 4 when it first came out, the first small teaser. And I remember in the movie theater seeing it, and it's just like this shot of the feet of Dolph Lundgren, who is ready, like he's ready to box, and it's just a slow pan up in here. My name is Ivan Drago. I am the greatest fighter in the world. And he gets up to his face and here, soon I fight Rocky Balboa, and everyone will know my name. And then everybody in the theater goes, "What, you son of a!" Everybody's screaming and going, "Oh, Rocky 4 is coming out soon!" People were nuts for it.
That's
because of that.
amazing.
Yeah, I
would love
can't
to have been
imagine.
there.
I can't imagine. There's like it's so rare, like in this day and age, we get that kind of reaction, like that actual ovation in a theater.
Yeah.
We were talking when we did Aliens on the show. Our guest, our buddy from Joe Blow, was doing the same thing. He was saying like you were in the theater and like you saw the Queen. There was like a total get away from there, you bitch. It was like people got up and cheered. That was
Right.
like you know what I mean? Like that doesn't really happen in movies nowadays. Like Furious 7 or a movie like that where it's franchised and it's kind of ridiculous. I feel like people get pretty into it. Most of the time, it's just not.
I know. I feel like I'm not that cool because like if I were to go back in time, I just want to go watch a bunch of movie premieres
Yeah.
and then maybe hit on Diane Lane.
Don't you say that.
And invest in Microsoft.
About Diane
so
Lane.
those are the 3 things I would do if I go back in time. But I'd definitely go see movies first.
Outsiders Diane Lane when she was Cherry.
Diane Lane is a saint.
She is still a cherry. No.
For
So
those
and then,
who aren't clear, Diane Lane is my.
Ben is in love with Diane Lane.
love
It's
Diane
a problem. Silk sweaters. So to find a positive review for this movie was pretty damn hard to do.
We should have just written one ourselves. we did probably actually our taglines.
We should just write reviews ourselves.
A
now.
volcano erupting in testosterone and baby oil.
Yeah, your review is like a thesis,
Yeah.
like for a college paper, not like our show.
I spent a lot of time on it.
I saw that. So we had to pull this review from Matt's Movies Reviews from Matthew Pekovic, which is sounds like a Russian last name.
Yeah.
Traitor. He goes, whatever charm and grit there was in the first film is gone, replaced with the glossed up, over the top form of 1980s action melodrama, which is thick on the cheese and even thicker on the montages. And this critic loved every minute of it. Boom.
You know something I was thinking about? So, okay, we talk all the time about how in the 90s, fighting was not like choreographed like it is nowadays, where it's all like sweet martial arts. It was like, I'm going to punch you in the face, then you're going to punch me in the face, then I'm going to lunge and punch you in the face again.
And I'm going to groan this time.
Yeah, like Harrison Ford is like the king of it.
Yeah.
Like he's the fucking king of it. That's like what he does. This movie is basically that, because like it's so unrealistic in the
Like
punching.
the punches where your whole body falls through and you
Yeah.
almost fall over every time.
Dolph doesn't even have footwork. He's just punching
No, he
over
just
and over
stands
again.
there.
That's the worst. That's the worst boxing strategy. No one's going to fix that for him. You can't just go with your fist cocked like this. Someone's going to hit you. Boom, 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 boom. But apparently everybody was so scared of him because he's 9 feet tall and he just comes
Yeah.
in like this. He knew he was going to kill him.
But I love that like in the 80s and 90s, like the strong male stereotype, like the strong character that a lot of these like male characters are based on, selfish males who would like fight and drink their problems away. So like, it's like Stallone is like, I don't care if I die. Like I
Right.
need to go fight him. I gotta do it.
She's
She's like,
do it for free and I'm going to do it in Russia.
she's like, you're my husband, and your best friend just died fighting this guy. Like, you're just gonna orphan our children because you're upset. He's like, yes, I'm
Yeah,
gonna do
you
that.
do that.
I'm gonna go risk my life. She's like, no, you're a father. Don't do that. It's ridiculous. He's like, I'm gonna do it anyway. And like that's like what these guys did. They punched really hard. They drank a lot, and they fought.
Well, it's crazy because of how big MMA and UFC has become.
Yeah.
And like how much of like a fanboy thing it is. Like there's a bandwagon that
Right.
came around, and this kind of thing would not sell anymore.
No.
Like even like when we were doing the watch along with people that love the movie, which if you guys haven't seen the movie in a long time, go watch the watch along. We did it yesterday. Yeah, check it out.
Yeah.
People wouldn't do it. They wouldn't deal with it. And the whole time in chat during the watch along, people are like, this is the worst boxing fight I've ever seen. But everyone loves it.
Everyone loves it.
Everyone loves it.
So let's just look at the box office numbers for a quick second so we can just sort of see. These are the adjusted for inflation. You can see that Rocky 1 was so remarkably successful. $459 million after adjustment. That's insane. But when you move down here...
And is that just domestic? That's just domestic.
Yeah, it's just domestic. We don't do worldwide on these because back in mid '80s, like the worldwide numbers aren't usually as
The
big.
yen wasn't worth as much as it is now.
Is that specific?
I don't know.
Okay.
And that was also in other parts of the world. People were going, "Hey, in 12 months, we're going to get this Rocky IV movie that's out now in the United States. It's gonna be awesome."
Yeah. Well, and like you think about something like Star Wars, which is like super franchised. Obviously, the new movies are going to make as much money overseas as they do here, if not more. Whereas in like '83, I'm sure Star Wars wasn't making anywhere near as much overseas as it's going to make now.
Interesting.
It's
as compared to now.
Just like the understanding of a brand internationally, promoting a brand internationally was just not as easy to do back then. The internet didn't exist; it was harder. Now it's everywhere. Everything's slapped everywhere.
Yeah.
So,
So you go and you look at these numbers and you can see Rocky and Rambo: First Blood Part 2. But see, with it adjusted, Rocky, the original one it just kind of destroys Rocky 4.
It does. It really does. And I mean, if you were going to rank the Rocky movies, honestly, even though 4 is my favorite, you have to say 1's the best movie. I mean, won an Academy Award.
It's a different movie.
Exactly.
Rocky was a story, and then like with Alien, once a movie like that gets so big, it's okay. Now we got to blow it up. It's got to be a blockbuster.
Right.
It's got to be different. And now it's the 4th one, and you always say to yourself, "Well, how good can the 4th one of anything be?" And then you see how good it is. It's got the most rewatchability of any Rocky movie out there. I mean, that's a huge achievement.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. It's a great guilty pleasure movie that you'll watch, and that's what he went for with the Expendables and Expendables 2, and it worked for him.
Yeah, totally. So, Demolition Man, look at that. Interesting film.
Interesting.
Preview.
Might be doing that soon.
Let's
move on.
Yeah, I think
Past this.
Instead of doing ultimate action scene, I suggest we play the training montage
And we rank the songs.
and we do our top 5 Rocky IV soundtrack songs in order. I think we all should start with our number 5 and work it up to number 1. Is that good for you guys?
Definitely. Because I think our number 1's all the same.
Maybe. I know yours and mine are. I don't know if he has the same one, but it's definitely going to be some consistency. So let's.
It's called a tease. Very good. Very good.
It's very
nice.
good.
Yes. Tell people what's coming up later.
All right, so let's get this training montage going, and I'm going to jump in with my number 5 because it's the perfect moment.
Is it the workout theme?
It's the training montage.
It's mine
song.
too.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like I had an issue with putting in a song with no words in it because the songs with words, the words are so good.
Yeah.
And they like are perfect for the movie.
Right.
But the training montage is so sweet.
And it's you have to make this one of the 5. Like you have to kick out some important songs.
Yeah.
Which is really hard to do because this is the greatest soundtrack in the history of movies. So, but like this is such a good. I mean. Let's just focus on it for a second. Just shut up so I can enjoy this. When it starts though, and like the bass kicks in, all I can think about is what if they had made a porno out of this?
Yeah.
Because it really sounds like that.
Ladies, Ben needs a girlfriend.
Or an Enya song. Either one.
No, you just wait. Chase. You're gonna hear it, and you're gonna start imagining this, and you'll close your eyes, and you'll be like, "Oh my God, you're so right."
Excuse me, miss.
So
I'm
right.
picturing Ben and Diane Lane, and she's wearing a purple Angora sweater.
Yes, I got a call about some
A
plumbing problems.
silk sweater. What's
See,
your?
I have this higher on my list. Because
really?
I mean, you see the beginning of this. This is just look how barren of a landscape this is for him to try to. He's in the middle of nowhere, and all you see is snow. And how is he gonna get this done? How's he going to train?
Cut to this, yeah.
Here it is. This is what he's like. I'm here to fix your plumbing.
Oops, it looks like I don't have the right parts. I'm gonna have to come back later.
And what we're gonna do is like the stuff Rocky's gonna do. You're gonna see Dolph like doing the same stuff, except
like-
like look at all this money that you spend
like
in there.
gizmos and gadgets and shit, though.
I mean, I'm running in the war. Look, he's got that. And look, he's all sweaty.
Look
And
at
you
all
know, I don't do that. I just keep running, and look what I'm doing. There's horses for no reason.
Bridget's terrifying. Okay, so
I'm getting overheated. I better take my shirt off.
Jason, let's go with your. What's your number 5?
My number 5 is Living in America.
You went with the James Brown song.
Because it comes out of nowhere, and it's something that would happen now, like before a Floyd Mayweather fight.
Right.
And before the fight, it's not the national anthem. It's not he's coming. No, it's, here comes somebody just to do a song.
Right.
And Rocky gets lowered into the ring because Apollo gets lowered into the ring because he's above Dolph Lundgren. Dolph's all by himself, and he gets raised up to have to meet the god on the same even level.
Yeah. Right.
And it's this whole thing, and James Brown is all the dancers they keep cutting back to, and Rocky and Apollo are staring at the dancers before the fight like that would ever really happen.
right, yeah.
You know? And then he finishes and he puts down, they put the coat over me, or the fight's gonna start.
Yeah.
I'm like, now that's how you start a fight.
So good.
I like.
And James Brown's actually there.
I've been
which I
listening to the
love.
soundtrack on repeat for the last 3 weeks, like just trying to decide my top 5. And I started skipping Living in America. I got sick of it. But I didn't get sick of the 5 on my list.
So what's your number 4?
So my number 4.
Do you have that on your list, or did you forget
you
what it was?
remember it?
What?
I can tell you what it
Very
is.
funny, guys. No, my number 4 is Hearts on Fire.
Mine too.
Really? Do we have a very similar list?
I must be, except for all of my songs appear in the film, which is interesting.
We'll get to that. So Hearts on Fire is amazing. His song's
Hearts on fire.
it's John Cafferty, right?
Hearts on Fire is, yes, John Cafferty.
Cafferty. It was his
Yes.
biggest hit.
Since Eddie and the Cruisers.
Yeah, I would say that Hearts on Fire. It's such a good soundtrack. It's so inspirational. I hear Hearts on Fire and it almost gets me the most pumped up. But then I can say that about almost all of the good songs on the soundtrack.
That's why this movie's so good.
Yeah. God, it's such a fucking good workout soundtrack.
Jason, what you got for 4?
Well, I got number 4 is No Easy Way Out.
Only number 4.
Well, that's because I have Hearts on Fire higher on my list.
Interesting.
But no easy way out.
Yeah, I got that as number 4 because that kind of kicks things off. There's still some songs I like with deeper meaning. Because as much as I like No Easy Way Out, it could have been any song.
See, that's a 6 to midnight moment for me.
Yeah, it's no way. It's my number 1.
It's my number 1.
Yeah, we have the same number 1. It's your number 4. Get out. Just get out.
At least I knew what my list was.
Yeah, right.
Andrew, can you line?
But I felt like it's a great song and it works well. But I also feel like they could have used a bunch of other songs in that spot.
It's true.
And it could have worked.
I don't know. We're not indestructible.
Why are you looking at him like that when you're saying it? It's terrifying.
Such a good song.
You people on audio don't watch video.
All right, so you're 4. So what about 3?
So my number 3 is it's a burning heart.
Oh, you went with Burning Heart.
I went Burning Heart, number 3.
That's the one that got kicked off my list.
Yeah?
It didn't make it because number 2 is so sweet.
No, it's not.
What about you? What's your
No, number 3 for me is Burning Heart.
Yeah, there we go.
That's when you
Boom.
first realize, okay, well, now you see they show the shot of the 2 Russian guys breathing all the cold air out, and you hear the.
It's right after Adrian's shown up.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'll reference it later for a specific reason, but I love Burning Heart. The reason I didn't keep it on here is for my later reason, but it was the hardest. It was the hardest one to not include.
The hardest thing I've done in my
It was
whole
the
life.
It's the hardest thing. It's a 98 Degrees song. Never mind. What's your number? Your number?
You didn't say your number 3.
I have the Tiger.
Okay, that's fair.
It's not actually
Because it's hardly in the movie at all.
It's
not
really
like the same as in 3.
It's a Rocky 3 song, but it's in the movie. It's on the soundtrack. Most importantly, it's actually on the soundtrack, which is what this is about.
Yeah, you mean actually in the movie?
It's on the soundtrack.
That's not what this is about.
It's an incredible song. Everybody knows.
And
I
it's
Have
2
the Tiger.
different singers for Survivor.
Yeah,
I
two
mean,
different Survivor songs.
Because you had, the guy who sang on Eye of the Tiger, then Survivor becomes this huge band and it's a big hit, and then the guy couldn't sing anymore, he had like vocal problems, so they replaced him with Jimmy Jameson, and this was like the first big song he sang.
Right.
So I'm sure nobody even noticed because they sound exactly the same, kind of like when Journey replaced Steve Perry with that kid.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, okay, but it's a completely different singer, and they went on to have all their success with The Search Is Over, High on You, I Can't Hold Back, all with Jimmy Jameson.
High on You, sweet. There's actually another Survivor song, Man Against the World, on the soundtrack that's also not in the movie. I don't think it's it's not in the movie. So there's like 3 Survivor songs.
Yeah,
on the
anything
soundtrack.
if it's not in the movie, it just doesn't count, is how I feel.
Well, if it's on the soundtrack, it definitely counts. So that's our number 3.
Yeah, so Ben, you're gonna do your number 2 last. I'm gonna go in with my number 2, which is Eye of the Tiger.
Okay.
It's more so for anything that's sentimental value.
It's fantastic.
Because it's only in the movie for just a little bit, and I remember when we finished watching the first time, I was like, wait, when was it? You're like, it's the beginning. I was like, yeah,
just for a second.
Right, but it's still, like, Eye of the Tiger,
Kicks off the
that's
movie really
Rocky
well.
for me.
Yeah. 100%. I mean, if you were going to say, what is the most famous Rocky song? It's
Eye of the Tiger.
the theme, and it's Eye of the Tiger.
Yeah,
it's like
absolutely.
those 2. So you have to give it credit where credit's due.
I'm going with the training montage as number 2.
That's your number 2?
You know why? Because when we started this list, we started the training montage, and it's still going, and we're
it's
almost done
super
with our
sweet.
list.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's just. It doesn't need any words. You know, you're just seeing all these things, and it's so repetitive.
Yeah.
And it's like a 10-minute scene, and everything seems to be the same things over and over. But it doesn't matter. It just keeps building and building.
At this point, I can't imagine where the porno would have gone. If it had been going for 7 minutes, like I just don't even know it. It sounds like so exciting,
Ben's never had sex for more than 7 minutes in his life. You can't imagine what happens after minute 4.
I probably would have turned the porno off at this point. I just would have been really intimidated.
Well, because usually, the other thing
Mom, I'm sorry.
that kind of music doesn't build to a climb. It just kind of stays flat all the way through.
Yeah.
I wonder if those films would be different if you actually had this music built. Okay, it's almost. Oh, it's gonna end soon. It's gonna end soon.
Oh, really? They're gonna cut it out.
Amazing. Ivan Drago, big shout out.
So Jason's was okay. What's yours?
It's a little song I like to call "Sweetest Victory."
Oh, can you tell me when this plays in the movie? I'm
It
not
doesn't
familiar.
actually. It was curated. Oh, here we go. To your heart.
We're gonna have to fire our engineer.
This is a song where on the
Wait for
soundtrack
it.
I go, oh, skip.
Yeah, right.
Wait for it.
Ben's like got his silk sweater on, popping his aviators on,
Here it goes. Here it goes.
and he's singing to his poster of Diane Lane. Yeah, all right. Cool.
Number 2 on the soundtrack for me, guys. This is
Swedish Victory? Is that what this is?
Swedish Victory.
the sweetest victory.
It'd be better if it was Swedish Victory.
I said sweetest victory.
Oh, okay. All right. Just want to make sure.
That's when the Swedish fish market outsold the Mike and Ike market.
Yeah, very clever, Drew.
Yeah.
Very good, Drew.
Yep.
Very good. All right, that's my. I might just move it to number 1. No, I'm just kidding. Did you?
He needs to do his number.
I think it's Hearts on Fire.
My number 1 is Hearts on Fire.
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah. That's the song I think of when you think of the movie. And you think of all the training, everything going on. It's Hearts on Fire. The keyboard that just keeps repeating, and it just keeps driving and driving and driving. Oh, yeah, Hearts on Fire.
And it's got the Hearts on Fire. The amazing thing about Hearts on Fire is it has that incredible like post guitar solo, like just like explosion of synthesizers.
Yeah.
And, it's like so much going on.
So 80s.
And so 80s, but it's so exciting. And then there's a key change. There's a friggin' key change.
It drops, right?
Yeah. It's like anytime that's like a classic '80s trick to make it more exciting in the last part, and they do it, and it's amazing. So I totally agree. Hearts on Fire is amazing. It's almost as good as Swedish Victory by Touch. Which by the way, Stallone was like, we need one more song, so I'm gonna hire these guys from Touch to write Sweetest Victory, and then didn't make the movie. Just made the soundtrack. But like, it's if you just cue up the whole song, you don't need to play it anymore now. But it's like,
Or ever again. Honestly, you could probably delete it from your computer now.
But if you're a fan and you want to hear like just what is the most like generic yet like unforgettable hair metal track you've ever heard, it's that song because nobody's ever heard of it, but it sounds like it should have been like
It's
a top
perfect.
40 classic.
Yeah.
All right, so that is our top 5.
Well, yeah, ours is
songs.
both No Easy Way Out.
Oh yeah, we said
number
it.
1. Yeah.
No Easy Way Out. Amazing. It was the first one from the movie I ever heard before I ever saw the movie. When I was like really into hair metal, and I was downloading songs illegally on LimeWire in like 2001.
Yeah,
and I
me
like
too.
it came. It was like Rocky workout montage was like what they called it, and it was only a half a version. It was only like a minute and a half long, but it was so sweet, and I was so into it. And then years later, I found out that it was like top 40 hit, and it was in Rocky. So
Love it.
Still have it on that CD that's stuck somewhere. Oh, I got made that went off of LimeWire. It says LimeWire Best of 2001.
yeah, no, I do. I totally do. Let's talk about our favorite lines, guys. This is, once again, a moment in the show where we like to have you guys jump into the show and join in and let us know what you think. So if you have a favorite line that is different than our favorite line, you should tweet at us or leave it in the comments. Again, AMA Podcast is the Twitter. Drew, what is your favorite line?
I have 3.
Rocky 4.
I want to go last because I have 3.
You want to use 3 lines?
I'm going to use 3 of them.
Well, can I?
I have 2.
I can't remember mine.
It's not a joke.
No, I'm gonna. This is the reason that I didn't use Burning Heart. And it's because when he gets off the plane and he's walking in the snow and he looks around, it's like, 2 worlds collide, rival nations.
Right.
I'm like, oh God, this is sweet. That's my favorite line in the whole movie. Is 2 worlds collide, rival nations. It gets me so pumped up.
Yeah, it's
So,
it's perfect.
Yeah.
It's absolutely perfect for the movie.
amazing.
So you got
sing,
one.
You sing every song like it's the same.
Yeah,
He does.
The same way. Like if you were singing Ethel Merman, you do it the same.
should hear his-
You'll be swell. You'll be great.
Baby's got a fast car.
We got a fast car. Yeah, you should hear his British accent. It's very good as well. What are your 2 favorite lines?
All right, my 2 favorite lines. One, because it shows the just how complicated of a guy Paulie is. He doesn't get that. Is when he first comes in and he's wondering all these things. When he first gets to Russia and he's there with Rocky and he's walking in, he goes, "I hope I have my comics here." I'm like, "You're a 55 or 60-year-old man and you need comic books?
Right.
Really? If I'm Rocky, I turn around and go, what guy did I bring to the middle of nowhere with me?
This is my training staff.
Yeah, this is
Dude, you stay up late and watch him while I sleep."
Andrew was telling me he was like, I mean, Paulie's got it made. She's basically got a sugar daddy.
Yeah, sugar daddy. He buys some robots.
Yeah. Amazing.
Custom cakes.
Happy birthday, Paulie. Happy birthday, Paulie.
She loves me. What can I say?
Oh, we did forget the one song none of us referenced. I know we all like it. Is "Double or Nothing" by Kenny Loggins.
It's when it plays.
Double or nothing. Yeah.
I get a fast double or nothing car. My other line is a Duke line, and this is the one. Whenever I think of all the movie, I think of the one line I say more so than ever for any time that fits is when right after Apollo just gets pummeled by Drago and he's going back to the corner and Duke's up and says, "This was supposed to be an exhibition, an exhibition." And so I always say that this was supposed to be an exhibition. Oh, what a great line it was! You know, it's a lot. His Apollo just is dying. He says, "It's supposed to be an exhibition."
What's the Apollo line you always do?
Well, the Duke line is one of my. Throw the damn towel. I love the damn towel. His face is like so like sweating. So that's one of them. My other one is from the same moment, which is Drago's line, which is I think everyone knows this line is if he dies,
he dies.
He dies.
Yeah, classic.
And then my favorite is it's at the end. It's right after he gets cut by Rock.
Yeah.
And he says he's not human. Well, he doesn't say it in English, so he doesn't have an accent. He says he's not human. He's a piece of iron.
Yeah.
And I just love it because it's like something crude about the iron and just like him being Russian. I don't know.
Of course.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it. So those are my three
fantastic
lines.
I love it. Should we move into rankings?
Yeah, this is a tough one, man. This is really tough.
Yeah, this is a tough one for me too. So we currently, God, this is the best. Yeah, this is gonna be hard. All right, should we start with hero villain ranking or best to worst? This looks like it's best to worst.
Let's do best to worst. Okay, so that might be a little easier.
All right, so you want to go first?
Where do I put Rocky IV in this lineup? I think I gotta put it in front of Born Identity at number
better than
16.
Born. Okay, for you.
Yeah,
but behind Minority Report.
Because I enjoy watching it more.
Yeah, Minority Report.
Yeah, even though I love this movie, it's not. I don't enjoy it in the same way.
Yeah, I think I would tend to agree with you. I think I like it less. Oh God, The Patriot's so sweet. It's like my new favorite movie.
It's incredible. Ben had never seen The Patriot before last week. We did it.
Really?
Yeah, I'd never watched it.
Wow.
Incredible.
You missed out. Kind of like how I missed out on Foo Fighters.
Yeah.
This is not a real band. They're not going to be around. They got another album. And then 10 years later, it's, wow, they got a best of.
Like, like I love Rocky IV, but honestly, like I think it's a lot lower than I was expecting. I thought I was going to have Rocky IV way higher, but I think I actually put it all the way down at 22.
22.
After Speed.
In front of John Wick.
Yeah, I think so.
I get that.
Do you like the Taking a Pelham 1, 2, 3 is higher?
Do you like that mine is Taking a Pelham 1, 2, 3 is 30th on my list?
I
and
do.
It will always be the last number?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I noticed that. Can't say I was pleased about that.
All right, and then hero villain rankings. This is tough. I mean, I think that for me, Drago is a better villain than Rocky is a hero in this movie for some reason.
I would agree.
But I still don't know where to put him.
Jason, for best to worst, would you put Rocky IV in your top 20 action movies?
Oh yeah, I put it probably my top 8 or 9.
Okay.
Yeah. I would have it up there just because of the rewatchability factor. I see in some more of this, like I'd rather watch Rocky IV for the 5,000th time than watch Taking a Pelham 1, 2, 3 again.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you see the new one? Did you watch the new film?
Of course you did.
Yes, I did. One time.
You didn't like it.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I like the original so much,
so much,
That's why we're doing a new one.
I just feel like you guys maybe have missed something with the movie.
I feel it in my fingers.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Love Actually. It's great.
Okay, well,
also a Christmas movie.
Yeah. Fantastic Christmas movie.
So while we're looking at our hero and villains, Jason, do you have a favorite action movie of all time?
Favorite action movie of all time is Die Hard.
Absolutely.
And then up at the top, and Ben and I were talking about this, is that I love I Am Legend.
Really?
I thought it was
I
just
was
done
surprised
so
too.
well, and it's got this. I'm always a big fan of when I can see someone on screen by themselves for a long time,
Yeah.
and it just goes by like that.
Right.
Like Tom Hanks in Castaway, when he's on screen for 70 minutes and it's just him.
Yeah.
Matt Damon in The Martian, the same thing. Not quite to what Tom Hanks was, but you can see that. And for so much of this movie, it's just Will Smith, and it's just by himself. And they cut back and forth and do him favors and retell the story, but just this is probably the best acting he's ever done.
Right.
And the one scene when he holds the girl's kid, and it's so underrated because just this one quick part where he picks up and he's like, I'm having contact with a human child, and you realize that he lost his wife and he lost, sorry, spoiler alert, and he lost his kid, and he's holding it, and you get just that 2 seconds of, whoa, I'm like, this is the best thing he's ever done. And I just,
Right.
it was just done so well.
Yeah.
And, it could have been an extra half hour. The movie, I'm like, I want more. Give me
Have
more.
you seen Hitch?
Yeah, I'll take Kevin James dancing over Ivan Drago. Let's move on, guys.
All right, so I figured out where I want to put Drago. It was tough, and Rocky's going to be tough too. But for Drago, I'm going to put him in between Hans Gruber and the Predator at number 9,
Very
above
good.
the Predator, because I think he could beat the Predator in a hand-to-hand combat.
Do you think that Dolph could beat the Predator?
Definitely.
Yeah. Interesting.
Probably not.
He's made of iron.
He is.
Yeah.
No, that's Rocky.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I like that. That's a good ranking. Yeah. This is a hard one.
I think the Predator would fall victim to if he came at him with the fist cocked and the Predator wouldn't know what to do.
Man, this is tough. Yeah. I mean, it's like I want to put Drago higher, but I'm looking at these guys that I have to put him over, and it's just I have a hard time putting him over the Queen Alien, Ivan Karashkov, Commodus. I guess
Commodus.
I think I put him right the same spot you do, where he's ahead of Commodus for me.
What?
Nah, he's behind Commodus. Nah, he's ahead.
How is he ahead of Commodus?
Maybe I'm just doing it to piss you off.
It's working. I'm very upset. I haven't sweat this whole episode. I'm about to start.
Yeah, that's really tough. It's got to hover right around there. I guess. Can I move anybody up or move anybody down? Yeah, I'm gonna put him ahead of Commodus.
Cool. All right.
One
So this is
spot
my
ahead of
last
Commodus.
episode of Action Movie Anatomy. Thanks for watching.
I'm quitting the show.
You can find me on my new show,
All about awesome.
all about action movies. Yeah.
All right. What
Taking of Andrew 1, 2, 3.
so what about Rambo or Rocky 4?
I don't know where to put him, man. It's tough. It's
Rocky
really,
for Rocky?
really hard. Yeah.
I mean, he's just not like. It's like Rocky's not a great hero. He's like lovable, but he's not.
I think I'll put him at 25 and move Ethan Hunt from Ghost Protocol down.
Yeah, that's fair. It's like he's like not. He's like yeah.
No, I think he's higher than that because you look at some of these guys, that are all okay. They're doing work and they're sometimes they're doing it anonymously and they work for the government. At the end, we disavow all knowledge of the operation.
Right.
But Rocky has all of America's hopes on his back, and they just watched Apollo Creed, who, depending on how you view the movie, either he was a very well respected champion or people hated him, but still he's an American. An American just gets killed in the ring, and when you go to the guy for a quote, he says if he dies, he dies. Whoa, we got to go fight this guy. So now Rocky does it for no money and nothing on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
And so now he's taking all the hopes of the United States with him. We got to win, and now he's in this huge atmosphere where it's for some reason the only people at the fight are generals and people in the army, and they all stand up for the national anthem, and it's all him, and they all are rooting against him, and that's an away game.
All right, I'm moving him to 18. Jason just sold me.
Whoa.
I put him at 15 behind Benjamin Martin. I love Benjamin Martin in The Patriot.
sweet.
I was like a really big fan of that. I think he's more memorable than John Wick for me. So
Yeah, I had to move him ahead of John Wick.
that's pretty
I
much the
felt
only
bad about that.
discrepancy. Yeah, I'll put him at 15.
But he's
right.
behind Martin Riggs, of the Chicago Riggses.
Yes, he's definitely behind Riggs.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So that's it. That's our hero villain ranking for the week. We might want to start doing those before we come on the show.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Because it takes a long time. Yeah. This is going to be the longest episode we've ever done, probably.
It's good. It's Rocky 4. It deserves it.
Yeah, it's true. It does deserve it. We have one last segment to do before we sign off.
A recast.
Recast.
Yeah, this is a good one. And I'm gonna win again.
Yeah, I think I
So
blew
Ben and
it
I
on
are
this
tied 2-2. We have a thing that we do. We recast every week, and you can tweet at us at our AMA Twitter, which is at AMA Podcast, and you can hashtag Master Recaster with yours and whoever you think won out of the three of us. You can always vote for our guest. You can vote for Jason or for me, who you probably will because mine is perfect. Or you can waste your time in typing on Ben and give him another win.
I've won a couple. I'm not proud of mine this week, but I'm going to try. Just like Rocky.
Mine's good. I like that. That's good. That gets 1 point.
Comic timing. I'm just borrowing your Humvee.
Just borrowing your Humvee.
All right, so let's start with Nielsen. Let's
Really
start
quick,
with-
if I was going to recast Adrian, I'd cast Amy Adams. I'm saying it right now. So if we're not doing it, we're not.
It's funny, I had Amy Adams on mine as well.
Oh, I believe it. All right, I'm sorry to cut you off. So what were you saying?
This is weird, but for Drago's wife, I went with Ronda Rousey because I was
Really?
thinking in a new world where you recast the movie, you made it again.
You saw her in Furious 7,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
she was
she's-
terrifying.
Yeah, well, I think that his wife in this movie is kind of terrifying.
She is.
And I think if she didn't do this as much, she just kind of sat in
she
like
just
a dress.
does that.
Like she wasn't as like martial arts, so she just kind of sat in her dress and like smoked a cigarette and like was tough. She's kind of tough seeming.
Yeah.
I think she could be a really badass
That's actually
wife.
a decent cast. I don't know. Her acting is so bad.
Yeah, it's
know?
debatable. I don't know if she could pull it off.
Because
But
like the reason we cast her and not Adrian is because she's does great in this movie.
She does really
very good.
Yeah,
you
she's-
are so very good, and we are so very bad.
she's evil and she's kind of conniving. Yeah, I mean it's true. Rousey might not be able to pull it off, but I was imagining it.
I like
and
that, though.
And I liked Rousey as the wife.
But she might be too tough for whoever you cast as Drago.
Yeah, right.
Because, like, boy, Drago's good, but his wife is a lot tougher, and I'd
Yeah.
rather see her fight than
Although
him.
at the end of Rocky IV, I did say that now he's going to go home and get his ass kicked by his wife because he lost. So
Yeah, he's just gonna get executed in the gulag.
yeah, he is.
He's not a killer, a professional fighter.
What do you guys have for Nielsen?
I went with Christiana Loken. She was in the Terminator movie, Terminator Salvation. She was the bad Terminator.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
She
yeah.
looks like exactly like her, and she's
Right.
intense, but she's still feminine enough. But she was a bad Terminator. She's badass enough to pull off this wife.
Salvation or 3?
3, I believe.
The one Rise of
Rise of the Machines.
Yeah, 3. Okay,
that one.
okay. Yeah. She's hot too.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah. She's a little older now, so she's probably like a good wife material.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Cross off Diane Lane.
What do you got, Jason?
I went with Kate Beckinsale.
Really?
I love
Because
her.
she kind of kicks ass.
Yeah.
She's also unlikable because she said a lot of bad things about America during her career. And I'm like, if you don't like America that much, make movies in Europe. Stay there. It's okay. So I think I put my personal feeling
Yeah.
for her in that, okay, I already feel a certain way about her. And then she does this role, and she can pull it off. She's done stuff like this before.
The
And
ageless Kate
she's
Beckinsale.
hot enough. And,
Yeah.
Love her.
maybe she pulls out a crossbow and a dagger at some point and, does
Yeah.
something. But
she doesn't age. She's
No.
so. I love Kate Beckinsale.
She's so.
I didn't know what you were going to say right
I
there.
just don't want to curse anymore.
Okay.
She's fucking hot. Okay.
Okay, right.
She's fucking hot.
Okay.
All right. So let's get into our weathers. So I guess this is like a hard thing when you get to Weathers and Stallone because you have to figure at this point this is Rocky IV.
Yeah.
So you would have seen 3 movies already with this relationship, which makes it very complicated because you have to imagine could they have pulled it off? The age, the age is right and all that. I went with Jimon Hunsu.
Really?
Yeah, I liked him in
Jaimon.
Jaimon Hunsu. I really liked him in Never Back Down as a fighter. Like he's the fighting coach.
Did you like that movie?
No, but he's believable as a fighting coach. He's intense.
Yeah, he is.
He keeps himself in good shape, and he's at the right age now that I feel like if you had started making these movies 8-9 years ago, he could have pulled off
He's
several
like
of
almost
them.
50 now, right? He's
Yeah,
gotta be. Yeah,
exactly.
Okay.
So if like the first movie he was like his
he
late
still looks
30s,
young and-
maybe.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And he's intense. Like he could have been like in this day and age again. He would have been like a likable sort of. He could have been like a likable foreigner. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
I pulled out of the stops on this one. I went with like a lot of classics. I went with Idris Elba on this one for sure.
Yeah, it's really good.
because he's an incredible actor. He's got the body type, and then with who I cast as Dolph,
Yeah.
he would still look small compared to him, I think.
Yeah.
So I'm going to stick with Idris Elba. I think he's a great actor. I think he's got a good body type for it, and no one wants to see him die.
And he's super likable.
He is very
Elba?
likable.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah.
That's who I had. I had Idris Elba.
There
Really?
we go.
Because I also thought, okay, is there a way that I could get Marlo in somewhere, and I can maybe get Jimmy in and Bunk, and then I can make it kind of like
Right.
The Wire. All
Get
these
Poop.
guys could have cameos in.
Get Wallace.
Oh, poor Wallace.
Where
Spoiler
Wallace
alert.
that string?
Poor Wallace. Spoiler alert. Yeah.
Such a good.
Yeah, but Idris Elba, and he's also at the point where, because Apollo was older at this point. He
Yeah.
was way past his prime. It was
Yeah.
supposed to be a ceremonial fight. And Idris Elba, as you think of him as a young guy, but
Yeah.
he's in his mid-40s.
Yeah.
Right. So he would definitely have that little bit of a weathered look.
The
Like
age is just right.
he could pull off Bond, but he couldn't pull off a fighter. Like
Yeah.
still, you know what I mean?
Totally.
Like since they're looking to cast him like that. Lundgren.
I went, and this is a little tough because he should be younger, but I like the casting, and it's Alexander Skarsgård from True Blood.
You think he's big enough?
He's pretty tall, super
he?
tall dude. I
He
think
just has to put on a lot of weight.
unless I'm mistaking him with someone else, but I've seen him in person. He looked gigantic.
Okay.
He's skinny, though.
Yeah.
And he's a vampire.
Yeah, but if you put a lot of weight on, he's got the bone
one likes
structure.
vampires.
Because he needs to look like the thing about Dolph is he looks kind of evil.
Yeah.
Right. He looks very like robotic and evil, and I think that Skarsgård, he's got the bone structure. If you put all the weight on him, I think he could look very evil and menacing.
Mm-hmm.
His thing is he's in his late 30s now, so this would have had to be like 6-7 years ago.
Right.
Like early 30s, he could have pulled it off, but he'd get jacked.
Okay.
And he's menacing.
He always has his eyes always look tired in True Blood, too, so you think he's older than he is.
Right.
Well, he's a vampire. He's, probably hundreds of years old.
Right.
Who do you have?
I had Kristaps Porzingis.
Porzingis, the basketball player.
Awesome. Yes, he's
Porzingis.
7'3". He's
Porzingis.
young. He has songs. Is he the Latvian Dirk? The Latvian Sean. Oh, he'd be awesome. He's got the personality. He's got songs about. Oh no, he would be a great recast for 2015. Kristaps Porzingis.
I'm gonna go with just because I know I told you guys both the story already, but it's a funny story. So, same interview I was talking about with Cusack for Spike Lee's new movie. I got to actually talk to Spike Lee for a second, and he's a huge Knicks fan, and so I sat down.
Really, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and the first question I asked him was, I was like, all right, look, be honest, because he just got a ceremonial Oscar, not a real Oscar, but one for his life's work. They give it's like an honorary Oscar.
It's like you're never gonna win one of these, but here you go.
And then he went up on the podium and he's like, "You guys need to embrace diversity more. This is ridiculous. Like, thanks for the Oscar, guys, but black people in Hollywood, let's work on it." And so I was like, "You just got."
Did
an
you tell him
honorary
that
Oscar.
this doesn't really count though?
No.
Did you tell him that? Oh, you didn't. Okay.
And I said, "Look, you just got an honorary Oscar. I got one question for you. To be honest." Do you want the Oscar more or to keep Porzingis in New York for a long time? And he looks at me and he's like, that's a good question. And he's like, look, I'm going to be honest with you. I would trade my Oscar for a Knicks championship in a second.
Yeah.
In a second, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I thought that was
love
pretty
it.
funny.
Porzingis. And who did you go with?
Skarsgård.
Skarsgård. Okay, so I wanted to do Kevin Nash because he plays
Okay,
that guy
yeah.
in Punisher real quick. He's like a gigantic Russian. But dude, no. Koba. All day.
You're going Kurt Angle.
I'm going Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
Like I thought about it. He's perfect.
Right.
He looks perfect.
We've talked about
terrifying
Warrior so much.
I know.
It's so hard. Like when I thought about the movie, I was like, it's that really relative to Rocky IV is such a small movie.
It's so similar.
And people don't know it really, like a lot of people don't. And if you think about like the stereotypes they cast, obviously Warrior is the greatest stereotypical movie ever made.
Yes.
It's like it is every sports stereotype in one movie, and they're all done beautifully.
Yes.
So we all said our Dolph. I'm gonna jump in because I cast Edgerton as Rocky.
I cast Hardy.
Because you look at him and you're like, that's the guy I'd want to see. He's
Right.
he's like the lovable underdog, and he plays it in the movie perfectly. We shared ours, but who do you have?
John Cena.
You think John Cena could pull off Rocky?
Oh, you see what he did? He was
chops?
the best part of Trainwreck. He was absolutely the best
actually
part.
didn't
Like,
see
wow,
Trainwreck.
he can-
I didn't see it.
Yeah, you know what? It's a little overrated.
Yeah.
You were told it was a good movie for a long time before it came out.
Yeah.
He was easily the best part. Like
Interesting.
all the belly laughs were him. And he's big enough.
Yeah.
He's got
Yeah.
that bit of, I'm smart but not too smart that he can pull off.
The Marine, 12 rounds.
He's got a lot. He's going to be in shape because there's always the big scene where Stallone takes his robe off and you see how cut he is.
Yeah,
like, oh my
right.
God. And he could, he's not going to have too much dialogue. He could pull off Rocky IV. Rocky 1, I don't know, but Rocky 4 he could.
Right.
I did consider Taylor Kitsch. I kind of like the idea of like if Taylor Kitsch got jacked. He's old enough now and he's seasoned enough and he's so like grim sort of seeming that I think he might be able to pull it off. But that's good.
He needs a hit movie too, Taylor Kitsch.
Yeah,
he
he really
does.
does.
He's good.
So this is really interesting because we were talking about this. So in all these sports movies, the same thing happens in the big fight, right? The big moment at the end where the hero's getting their ass kicked by the unbeatable villain, and the trainer has to sit down and give him a pep talk.
Yeah.
And Warrior has, like, I think in recent memory, the best one ever because he's looking at him. And he's like, do you think you can win this fight, Brendan? If you can win this fight, we will get the kids, we will get Tess, and we will go home. If you don't win this fight, you don't have a home because he's going to lose his house.
Yeah.
And it's just this moment, and you're like, and he goes in and he's revitalized. And I was just thinking, that's the new age version of what this movie is. And you got to think of who is the guy who you really believe has the heart to respond to that moment. And that's why it was so hard. And I was thinking Edgerton's I've seen him do it, so I believe it. If you were going to recast Rocky, Warrior, Rocky, come on, if you were going to recast and remake it, he could pull it off.
See, the reason I went with Hardy is because I know he can do all the same things.
Yeah,
and I think
right.
that him and Elba would look good against each other.
Size-wise.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Especially with the mask on his face.
Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Wayne.
Wondering what would break first. I believe we all can change.
And now I'm going to blow up this theater, Mr. Wayne.
Wow.
What an episode.
What a fucking episode.
That was a lot of fun for a very long time. I think there's only one category left we have to hit, and
We
that's
got to do the pitch.
Oh, jeez. And we have to talk categories. We'll do a quick pitch.
Okay,
so,
very quick.
there are 3 action movie categories, guys. It's totally ridiculous, totally legitimate, and ridiculously legitimate. And basically, totally legitimate is a movie like The Fugitive or a movie like Terminator 2, where it's extremely believable, it's high quality, you laugh when you're supposed to laugh. Totally ridiculous is just absurd. Falls off a cliff. It's Con Air. It's Face Off.
Yeah.
Movies that are very silly, very tongue-in-cheek, and almost intentionally so. And then the middle category, which is ridiculously legitimate. That's just
Patriot.
The Rock. Patriot, The Rock, Speed. what's another one?
That's fine.
Predator. Great
yeah.
example. They make you laugh unintentionally at times, but they're very compelling the whole way through. Usually they have at least one really good performance. Then they're kind of the classics of the genre, and they don't go too far in either direction. This is, without a doubt, totally ridiculous.
Totally ridiculous. I 100% agree. Like, there was moments when you were watching, you're like, this could be ridiculous. No, nope, not at all. Not at all.
What do you think?
Oh, no, I'm with you on totally ridiculous.
Totally ridiculous.
It wasn't even a debate.
Okay,
No.
good. That's easy then.
That was very easy.
All right, this is the pitch. It's a new thing we're doing. So this is to show you guys what movie we're doing next week on the show. We're going to talk about it for just a second, why it's awesome, and why you should watch it in the week that you have before we do the film. Unless I'm mistaken, we're doing Demolition Man.
Demolition Man.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man.
You got Stallone in the news. You got Wesley Snipes in the new Spike Lee movie, Chirac, which is coming out next week, I think, or a couple weeks from now. And they're both going to be out there. And Demolition Man is a fucking classic.
It's a great movie.
Yeah.
And Wesley Snipes is such a good bad guy. And let's just keep riding this Stallone train, man. It's a lot of fun.
We have to thaw him out. All right, let's thaw him out then.
There's so many things that are great. They referenced the Schwarzenegger as president, which was ironic.
Yeah.
And then later became just frightening because he actually was a politician. There's like an early incarnation of cyber sex.
Yeah.
Which is like long before like the internet, like something that never really happened.
This is another movie that's just perfect for our show.
Yeah.
It feels all the right things. Makes you feel all the right things.
It's awesome and hilarious, and it's like the prime of Stallone's career. It's the prime of Snipes' career.
Well, that's when, because Dennis Rodman, actually, that was when that movie came out. He dyed his hair blonde.
Yeah.
Because everybody said, oh, you look like Wesley Snipes.
Right.
So he looked like that for a while.
And then
So
he
good.
did Double Team with Van Damme like a couple years later,
Which
right?
is also a phenomenal
Yes.
film.
He was an arms dealer, right? In Double Team?
Not
Yeah.
a good movie.
Not a good movie.
Yeah.
Not at all.
we used to play, me and my best friend in elementary school, we saw that movie, we would like play like Nerf guns and try to like mimic the moves. And I would always play Snipes because I thought he was cooler than Van Damme.
That's great.
Yeah, love Wesley Snipes. Great dude.
He almost hit me with a car in the marina.
Really? Yeah.
97, I was in the middle of the street in front of my apartment. He came up behind me. I heard a beep beep, and I turned. The car was coming like kind of fast, and he stopped. And I looked. And I go, "What are you? Oh, it's Wesley Snipes.
What are you doing?
Oh,
What?
hey, all right, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Keep going. That's all right. We're good."
I'll tell the story again on the show next week, but same junket. I was like, hey, if the studios gave you the opportunity to recast Blade, if they were like, you can just do it all yourself, you can recast the lead role, you can direct, produce, all of it, who would you cast to take over the franchise? And he's like, that's a good question. I think I'd cast that cool young guy, Wesley Snipes. I think he's in pretty good shape. I think he's still pretty on top. I think he could really pull it off. I was like, next question, sir. Very good.
Dig it.
He still owes a lot of money to the government. He needs paydays. Gallow Walkers
he
didn't do
does.
too well.
Yeah, so that's next week, and that's our show.
Yeah.
What a show!
I'm actually going to cut you off real quick.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm going to go off the script. And I just want to congratulate you, man. This has been a really big week for you.
Thank
you just
you.
got a brand new job doing creative comedy work, sketch writing.
I appreciate it.
For a big show, man.
Yeah.
It's like all the things are paying off. So I want to take time to congratulate you, let our audience know there's new things that you can watch Mr. Bateman doing.
yeah, it's a comedy content for the box score as seen on the Dan Patrick Show. It's on DirecTV Audience Network, goes online. I'll talk about it more on the show. But I just finished writing my first sketch today, which when it goes on, and I'll talk about it on the show. So thank you for shouting it out. I appreciate it.
Of course, man.
It's an exciting week. It's been a long journey.
I believe
I'd
it.
like to say that this show had a lot to do with it. So
Anyway, you guys can find me at Andrew Ghai on Twitter if you're looking for me.
you can find me at Ben Bateman Media, Twitter and Instagram.
At How About a Fresca? Fresca?
Yeah, and you can find Jason every single night, Monday through Friday, from 8 to 11 on Fox Force Radio.
Yes, check your local listings for the time of the show in your area.
It's just the Jason Smith Show?
Yep, Jason Smith Show, Fox Sports Radio, 8 to 11 Pacific, 11 to 2 on the East Coast, and then you and I on Sundays on DirecTV, how we know each other. You forgot about that.
DirecTV Fantasy's on it. If you guys like fantasy football, I'm not talking. I'm just talking at Jason and then like singing Survivor lyrics.
Yeah, Ben in the just to give you what it's like, it's just like this. I'm standing here and I'm talking and voicing over highlights and analysis and everything, and Ben is standing right here just telling me things in my ear. So I have to trust him so much because whatever he says could wind up on the air. Like I said, and there's a Cam Newton, Devin Funchess, who's not wearing pants. He's not wearing pants, and it's a touch. Oh, wait a minute.
And I'll be like, Jason, sweetest Victor.
We gotta go to commercial.
Go to commercial. Take it back. All right, that's the show, guys. AMA Podcast on Twitter. Check it out, and we're going to send those mugs out to you guys very soon. We swear to God. See you soon.
Take care.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its owners or principals.